Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and dabbing, maybe some microphone dabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric Page.
It's accurate this week. It's DJ Eric Pagey. That's it. Actually, I need to get Tom to re-edit that so it says DJ Eric and Pagey. So then we don't get that. No, maybe we should just leave it the way it is.
If you need an end for the thing,
Yeah.
end.
There you go. It's done. There you go.
And? Oh, hang on. And? There we go. There's like a questionable and, just in case there's some
well, there's options.
variations.
There's options there, is what it is. All right, guys, welcome to the after party. I know that's super meta, right? Welcome to the after party 3.5. This week, we're going to be doing a few things. I actually have notes this week. I didn't do them last week, but I actually have notes this week. So, a couple things before we get started this week. Reminder for an AMA for my Enhanced Team Eric members for this month. I'll be recording the video this weekend. Yes, it's the second tier. The second tier.
Super enhanced, dude.
So if you want to ask any questions, the community tab is going to be available. Check over there. I will make another post for another set of questions in case you missed the first one. Because that system is really bad, right? Isn't like the subscription part for YouTube just it doesn't. It's not very.
If your channel's older than 3 or 4, if your channel's older than 3 or 4 years, then forget about your video ever appearing in a subscription box. Anyway, so
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so it'll be posted there. My Superman and Lois video is still stuck in processing. By the way, I uploaded it 2.5 hours ago. It is sitting at 95% processing. So I said, you know what?
LMAO.
I will upload it tomorrow. So you will get it tomorrow. It'll be the video for tomorrow instead. So there we go. I know exactly. Our topics this week are going to be primarily Batwoman, Superman and Lois, and the Flash. Paige has not seen Legends, and so if you guys want to talk Legends, we can. But you know,
LOL.
So yeah. And our last topics after that are going to be the release schedule for the fall for the CW. And an article, an interview with Eric Wallace that was over on, what website is this? Insider.com, which is like a legitimate thing. So we'll talk about that. And it discusses like the Flash, basically like the state of the Flash. So there we have it. Those are the topics for today. We've got a super chat already from Lord Genome 76, a $5 super chat. Considering how serious and dramatic Superman and Lois is, always laugh at characters in universe falling for the glasses trick. It's very incongruous. Love it. So yeah, I did think about this a little bit when like Lana was close to him, like they were very close proximity. Because I can believe it from a distance. Like if you're far away from someone, I could believe that you wouldn't necessarily see it. But I think with Superman and Supergirl, the one thing you have to just forget about is them recognizing those characters without their glasses, because that's really the only. It's such an old thing that there's no way to change it. And I just think we have to suspend our disbelief on that one, right? I mean,
well, I think with other times, even if it's just Clark Kent, because it's like in the city metropolis was just so big, it's like being in New York. But I think like in the case of this week's episode, like it's in Smallville, and coincidentally, Superman's in Smallville, and oh my god, you know, like you connect the dots and stuff like that. But
especially with Lois being so close with Superman in Metropolis, like. You would think that they would put 2 and 2 together, but
yeah,
maybe not. Rebel Scum with the 499 super chat. Joe stayed back this episode to watch the baby. Joe had an interesting role this week. It was like the 2 pieces of bread for the sandwich. Like they started out with something and they ended with that thing, and then it kind of bookend like the episode. Which I thought was kind of interesting. And let's see, Naruto with a $5 super chat. I just thought of something on Superman and Lois. How does transfusing a Kryptonian's consciousness to a human host give the host Kryptonian powers? It's Kryptonian technology. Like they even said the guy that was working on it was like, I don't really understand how it works. So I mean, I'm assuming that it's a technology that we don't understand, right? I mean, that's what I would say. I don't think there's any real explanation given for it.
Well, yeah, because it's the mind and like DNA structure, isn't it? Like if it was just the mind thing, you wouldn't have to go into that ridiculous machine. Like they probably just put some helmet on you.
Yeah, because it actually does something to you. Like it
slowly changes your DNA into.
And sometimes it doesn't work because they've said that sometimes it doesn't take. Like they don't stick or something. So. Yeah, I don't think it's fully explained. I can understand why that's a question, and absolutely, I think that if it had just been a situation where they were around that kryptonite and all of a sudden they had that personality, I'd probably question it too. But the device itself does something to them, and I don't think we truly understand what it is yet. King Mike Todd's $5 super chat. I'm sorry, Flash was boring. It was the first time I ever just turned it off. Well, get ready for next week because you're probably going to turn it off next week too. We might discuss that a little bit as well, not in detail. I know you've done a trailer breakdown that I watched earlier because I'm your number one fan, and
hashtag number one fan.
Yeah, and so next week looks like it's going to be, yeah. Here we go right away. I told you. Remember I mentioned before we went live. KP 399 thoughts on the Legends twist ending. I'm not going to say what it is, but I will say I didn't like it. I think it's really not great for the character, and I'm shocked that they did it because of all the times that it's been tricked throughout the years. So the ending itself, I think was I don't like it. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't like I didn't believe it or it couldn't happen. I didn't.
Wait, can I take a guess at what it was? I have no clue what happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was either that Sarah died,
or
that Mick died, or that Gary. Not Gamon, Gary Green became a astronaut.
Okay, one of those is right. Do you want me
I'm assuming it's the first one.
Yes, it's the first one.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That was the big twist at the end of the episode. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. So yeah, see, Introverted Unicorn, the twist was kind of a slap in the face to the character and their story. I agree. I will say this though. I didn't like it, but like Malik says here, I think the Legends twist was great to me. It's the first twist they've had in probably 3 seasons where I felt like it was something you would normally see in the Arrowverse. So for me, I'm like, okay, it's actually pretty interesting, but I also feel like we've seen Sarah get killed many times before. So, I mean, it's hard to have any real feeling about it when it's happened so often, right? I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. All right, let's talk about Batwoman this week. So we got I think a lot of people tuned in because of Diggle being on the episode. Do you think that Diggle being there was worth watching the episode? Do you think that he added something to the episode that we couldn't have got from another character?
Well, I think well, if you're watching for Diggle, you're probably watching because you wanted to have some interconnectivity with the rest of the stuff. And if it's due to that, then I'd say yes, because it plants to say that he's got like some issues going on, and he came to Gotham or did something in Gotham while he was there, at least in regards to it. The thing is, I always thought it was going to be weird how they'd handle Diggle because he literally knows no one here.
Yeah.
Like, you could argue that, what a coincidence. He runs into Luke at this like weird underground bar. Like, why would Diggle be there?
I thought about that as well when I was watching the episode. Yeah.
Like, I personally thought the person that he might have potentially any connectivity to would be Jacob Kane. Because Argus and maybe the Crows have worked together on something before, and he's, I
actually thought before Sophie actually quit the Crows, I thought he would end up doing some sort of a case with her. Like he'd be there working with her. That's what I thought was going to happen. But they went in a direction that I don't think, like, we could have never predicted this particular setup. I don't think anybody would have picked it up. Would have been like, yeah, he's gonna meet Luke at a poker tournament, like,
and then have a conversation in an alley. Like, I didn't mind it, but it just like it definitely was not something that I think felt overly natural. Like, I think there's other choices, but I was fine with it.
Yeah.
And the thing I wouldn't have minded is maybe like having another scene with him on his own. But I think the reason that they didn't do that is because they wanted it not to be from his point of view, to be from one of the other characters' point of views where he comes in.
I guess
so,
that's right.
like, I'm not gonna give it a 10 out of 10, but like I'm fine with it because I think it plants a decent enough seed and lays a decent enough foundation for the rest of his appearances. Like, I think his next one is, I think it's Flash. I think it's Flash then Superman, because Superman goes on a break after next week's episode. I think if Superman
For like 3 weeks, right? Isn't it like a 3-week break?
I think it's so it's 3 weeks, but I think it's 2 weeks without an episode. So it's 3 weeks, but from episode to episode. But I think if they aired, if they didn't take the break, I think the Diggle episode of in the Flash and Superman and Lois would air on the same day. They'd be one after the other. So it makes me wonder why they're going on a break. Obviously, they need it, because the thing is that the episode that's airing next week only feels like it was only like a month ago they're filming it. And we know that this show takes a bit longer in post-production now.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they're taking the break, to catch up on that. But yeah, so Flash next in episode 16, it seems, for Diggle showing up. So let's see what happens there.
I will say this, though. I think the last 2 episodes of Batwoman have been some of the best episodes they've had all season, honestly.
Well, I think what a lot of people are saying, and I agree with it, and I even just said it myself in general, was that Batwoman's just got this track record of starting off a bit dodgy, and then its season sort of ends fairly well.
Yeah, like season 1. Like Ruby Rose felt really good like 3 or 4 episodes out from the finale. So
yeah, and like now they're picking up the story here and stuff like that. So that's maybe something that they should fix, where at least, I'm not saying it has to be good every episode, obviously, because it can just sometimes be hard, as when you have around that 20 episodes for quality control, but like maybe have some good episodes at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, thank you for becoming a member, Flash Freak 508. I appreciate it. Make sure you check out all the stuff in the community tab, because that's really the only way you're going to find anything. But you get all the perks from the chat and stuff. You get all the emojis, so try them out. Thank you so much. And a super chat here. I can't believe iCarly is getting a reboot, which, by the way, I saw that article where they talked about it being more adult in nature. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm like, how adult is it going to be? I don't know. That was my fave show growing up. Can you guys put in a good word with Miranda Cosgrove? If I run into her at the grocery store, I will definitely do that. And he says, don't have Ben do it, though, because I'll get rejected. I wish Ben was here to see that. It's actually pretty funny. Let's see. Roz said with the $3 super chat, I wish they gave him headaches a bit more attention. well, I think we'll see it like after because I think he was there in Gotham specifically to see a neurologist about these headaches. I think the next time we see him, he'll know what's going on, right? I don't think they would. I mean, there's going to be a big gap between this appearance and his next appearance. So maybe.
Yeah, like what? It's
because his next appearance is on what? Superman and Lois, right?
No, Flash in episode 16, which is what, like 3 weeks from now. So it's been about a month between episodes.
All right.
But then after that, I think it's literally, it could be like 2 weeks after. No, it could be like the week after.
Right.
He appears on Superman and Lois. So I think you'll have back-to-back weeks of Diggle.
I don't know.
Actually, his Legends appearance is in 2 weeks, but that's not Diggle.
Yeah. So
it seems that it's going to be Diggle in 2 weeks on Legends, or David Ramsey on Legends in 2 weeks, Flash the week after that, and then Superman the week after that. The thing is that Supergirl's all the way, like another 2 or 3 months after that. Like Supergirl's ages away.
Yeah.
That next appearance.
So I'm wondering if the reason why his Legends appearance is a different character is because chronologically they're all over the place in terms of like where they're at and what they're doing.
I think the issue is they just don't want Legends in the modern day.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I think that's specifically the reason.
Naruto here with the $5 super chat. I'm a couple episodes behind on Legends. So Sarah died for the umpteenth time. Chances are she's back by the end of the season. You have to watch the episode. I don't want to, unless you want spoilers. You can ask the chat or whatever. But
we can. There is one more. There is one spoiler from the episode that you told me.
What is that?
Well, I don't know if this is true because I haven't watched the episode. But Eric told me that Mick farted. I don't know if this is true or not.
Yeah, you have to watch the episode to find out.
I must say, Eric,
you've
got the Marga get up today. I've just noticed red everything. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
red
the trucker hat. So I don't know.
Red glasses.
What did you think of Lois Day is because this week she got a lot more of her Kate Kane character. What did you think of her in that role? Because I think she's already, to me, more suited for Kate Kane than Ruby Rose was.
Yeah, I think the big issue that they have here is, well, the big thing is that they now have an issue because they have a Kate Kane that pretty much everyone likes.
I haven't seen any bad statements about Wallace in this role.
And they have not done a very good job developing at least Ryan as Batwoman. Like Ryan Wilder potentially, but even then Ryan Wilder has no story. So
let's talk about that for a second, right? Before we go any further with Batwoman. I feel really bad for Javicia as Ryan right now because everyone around her, Luke, Kate, Mary, Alice, Jacob, they're all getting
Sophie.
Very personal. Yeah, they're all getting. Yeah, Sophie. They're even in some ways, Sophia and Ocean are getting these stories that are like integral to them as characters, and Ryan's getting nothing outside of the episode that we got where we saw her backstory when she was little and what we know about her mother.
That was the beginning of the season, like first,
and she's the lead character. I feel bad because I think Javicia is really good in her role. And I think she came into the show with a lot of energy. And I think the writers have let her down because they clearly just want the show to be about the existing characters.
They want the show to be
Ryan is like an afterthought.
They want the show to be what season 1 was and that cast, but they were put in the sticky situation with the Ruby Rose thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like Fresh Sounds Florida puts it in. She has no story because she was casted as a prop. I think most people, now, at this, some people were saying at the beginning, and it was like one of those things, well, we don't know. We don't know until we actually see the story play out. And once the first few episodes came out, it didn't seem like that was the case. I think the more we get into the season and we see who's getting focus and who's not getting focus, aka Ryan not getting that focus, both as Ryan Wilder and as Batwoman, it brings up the argument, was it just a stunt casting?
Yeah.
And like, it's not going to surprise me in the slightest, even if Batwoman finishes really strong this season. And the majority of people that watch the show are like, yeah, I really enjoyed whether it's the finale or just this season as a whole, whether people look back at it and go, why do they even center the show around a black Batwoman if you're not going to focus on her being Batwoman or, more importantly, her being black?
Mm-hmm.
Like what was, and like they made a big deal about it. It was like to get brownie points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people I think we might have talked about it as well. It's like how they're going to handle that based around like other characters on the show, like were they going to dip their toes into it? And outside of one episode, which was like the kids being stolen, meant how like, I think it was episode, that was in the first few, like the first several, like maybe like episode 4 or 5, I think that was. Mm-hmm. That was early in the season. That was very, very early in the season. So, I don't know. I guess you let me feel free to put in the chat. Do you think it was a stunt casting and they did it for like, Hollywood brownie points? But I don't know.
I didn't want to say that. So if you go back, guys, and you watch like the after parties leading up to Batwoman season 2, I was one of the people that was really excited for Javicia. I was always talking about it. I was really happy that we may get to see Gotham from the perspective of a character that we don't have in the comics, that represents a demographic that isn't really represented in media. So it was ticking off a lot of boxes for me to get excited for the second season. Plus, Javicia herself was really excited. So coming into the season to find out that it was literally like, it was about Kate Kane when Kate Kane was still dead.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's been fully realized. And even Cody says here, Batwing would have originally been in Batwoman 213. And that's because they came out and said that they didn't think that having his story showcased when Ryan hadn't really had a story showcased or whatever.
Doesn't matter anyway. Where he's going to appear. It's either going to be this week or next week anyway. So there's still no story there for Ryan. So that whole statement is sort of redundant.
I would argue that Luke's story with his father, like the thing about seeing his father in a vision when he was in a coma or whatever, that should have been Ryan's story. Not that exact story, but a story at that level should have been Ryan's story. We've not had that.
That's the thing. So last week we had an episode, sort of the week that just went past with Diggle and stuff. The week before, we've had the episode with Luke. He's been, he got shot the week before, but he's in hospital. He's seeing his father and talking to Bruce Wayne. Having this big emotional episode where really it's about Luke accepting where he wants to go with his life, because he wasn't happy in the current situation about being a black man living in that world,
right?
But also probably just where he is at the moment and what he does and how he contributes to society. And which is going to lead him down that Batwing route. And we get this very emotional episode. Cameron Johnson killed it in that episode. So good.
Oh yeah, literally MVP. Yeah. Easily.
But then you see almost an equivalent of, because that was like something to do with the parent, and then you see the equivalent this week where you could have had some sort of moment around it, and it was brushed over in 2 seconds, and it's Ryan giving away the last thing that reminds her of her mother.
That should have not been an afterthought. That should have been a big deal.
The Desert Rose thing should have been this thing where you get a similar situation to that thing. And even if it's not some vision thing, because it can be hard to implement that, like what does Ryan just daydream? Right. If we just get a flashback of like a nice moment between her and her mum.
They have the footage. Roll the B footage. You have it. They have it already.
Yeah, just a nice moment between her and her mother before she passes on a rose, and we can see why it would mean so much. But we don't have that grounding. So
Markel here with the 2-9 super chat. Ryan basically just reacts to the plot. So this is the thing. Batwoman is a series a lot like The Flash, where it's not so much character driven as it is plot driven. But this season, it's like they've shifted to this almost pseudo place where it's almost a blend of both. But unfortunately, Ryan doesn't get a lot of the main plot, and she also doesn't get a lot of her own character moments. So she's in this weird limbo. It's like the episodes have been good, but I feel bad for her character because she's been left behind by the rest of the cast. And wasn't there supposed to be a Scarecrow as a big villain for Ryan? I thought that was mentioned before the season started,
so heading into the season, Scarecrow was meant to be the person that actually killed Ryan's mother.
Oh, okay.
But then they decided to change it to make it that it was Alice.
Okay.
So that was going to be the Scarecrow thing. Yeah.
With a $5 super chat, the ending of Legend explains the reason for the next episode back to the finale. Yes. Yeah. That's, I don't want to get too much into the details and spoilers, but yes, I see what you're saying, Naruto. Multi-topic talk with a $5 super chat. I'm a bit late. I need to finish the Flash latest episode. That cliffhanger in the Flash was just amazing. The next graphic novel will be Kramer Center. That's one of the things we'll go over when we talk about the Flash. I don't think it will be, but I think it's going to be one of those things where we mentioned this before, where a lot of people don't understand that there's the A plot, the B plot, and it's been a thing forever. I think the Kramer thing may connect to the A plot, but I think that's going to be Joe's story this season.
It's going to be Joe's. It's the whole thing. They talked about it back at Fandom before that this is his like whole abusive power.
Matter of fact, there was an article all the way back September of last year. Around Fandom.
Yeah. Where so this isn't the main storyline. This is this abusive power storyline that they've talked about for like almost a year now. Yeah, over a year potentially. I'm not even too sure when they first mentioned it, but it wasn't too long after like quote unquote season 6 ended last year.
Geek information with 4-9 super chat. Dang, I'm late. I'm crying. Laugh out loud. How are you guys? We're good, Lance. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Lance Armstrong, dude.
No, definitely not him. Geek information. So anyway, I guess we'll wrap this up with the big thing. The Crows are no more now.
R.I.P.
So they're gone, and now they're doing. I feel like they're doing what I didn't want them to do, they're trying to redeem Alice, right? I mean, I feel like that's what we're going for, because I don't know. In order to fully redeem a character, there has to be accountability. And if you look at the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, part of the big story of Bucky was, even though when he was the Winter Soldier, he was brainwashed, he still has to go around and make amends with the people that he did wrong, because even though he was not himself, he took part in it. And so therefore he bears that responsibility, not just for him, but for the other people that it happened to. Alice is never going to be able to do that, because Alice has done so much as Alice that in order to redeem her, we just have to forget that she ever did anything wrong. I mean, because she was a victim. So that means no one else is anything she did anybody else doesn't matter. It seems really weird to me, because that's not how it's supposed to work. But I feel like they want Alice to be redeemed so badly that this is the route they're going to go.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is do you think that's what they're going to do? Because that's what I'm getting. That's the impression that I'm getting.
Well, my thought around it, I think I said this to you, is that, and based off where Jacob is and everything like that, and I think it's just mainly due to the fact that they've pushed so hard on Ryan being Batwoman that if they, for some reason, didn't do it, they'd get 100% cancelled, and the show would be like, so, like, even if people agreed that like using Kate was the better option, how they handled like the promotion of using Javicia and Ryan Wilder before the season started, and even towards the beginning of the season, would 100% just be like so much backlash. So I think this is what I personally think is going to happen. I think at the very least, Jacob and Kate will leave Gotham City. They'll move away together. Like, they'll move away as a family. And then potentially if Alice gets quote unquote redeemed, or, you know, the story ends, she'll move away. So you have, well, Beth, Kate, and Jacob move away from Gotham City. So you get the Kane family ripped out of the show, and which would free up some baggage, but also would probably cause some drama anyway. Because now you have no one called the Kane even associated with the show now, but it would free up the show. I don't know how you would keep Sophie overly involved now. I don't know, unless she joins the Batwoman team or something like that. I'm not sure how they keep her involved, but I could see that happening. Oh, you got Mary there. Mary's gonna be like, oh, I got my little hospital thing. I'll stay.
Mary, who doesn't have to go anywhere, because Mary had the luxury of being integrated into Team Batwoman at the end of last season. So she's lucky that happened. And Sophie could still be integrated.
Or it could be the fact that Alice is still seen as a criminal and Kate's still seen as dead. So that could be the reason that they leave Gotham City, because to them, like, what's their purpose? You know, I don't know.
And before we move on, though, the last thing I want to say is this episode handled like police corruption, and I think it did it in a way that worked in the world of Gotham. So I didn't have an issue. It didn't feel like a PSA to me. It literally felt like it really could happen in Gotham. And this is why I think when you have episodes that tackle subject matter that is from the real world, it has to feel organic to the show. And I think that they did that with this. And I can't believe I'm giving them credit for that, because Batwoman has not been really good in the writing department. But I think I don't know what's happened. I don't know if maybe they've like put the clamps down on people or something like that. But I thought it was a much better episode than anything we've had, you know, in terms of like storytelling with real world stuff this entire season, personally.
Ooh,
All right, so we're gonna move on and let's talk about Superman and Lois, starting with Fireflame62 with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And they say Superman and Lois is carrying the Arrowverse at this point. I'm gonna totally agree with that.
What about Legends?
No, Legends is not even in the conversation. Would have given the episode a 10 if it wasn't for the stuff with the kids. Yeah, that did annoy me a bit, but it didn't take away from the episode as a whole for me. Didn't mind Batwoman when Flash is on the same level as Legends. That's a red flag. Yeah, I mean, I think it's personally because the Flash is doing basically their filler episodes all in a row, whereas a lot of seasons you get them kind of spaced out, but this season they're back to back to back, which is kind of the issue, or but We'll see. Answer some of these super chats here. $5 super chat. Do you think Jacob in jail means he's written off next season? What happens to corrupt police being arrested? FBI will come in. No, I think the Jacob storyline will continue and get wrapped up. I don't think it's going to carry over till next season. There's enough episodes left for them to finish. Trust me, they will jump through it quickly if they have to. So I think whatever's going to happen with Jacob and the police will happen before the end of season 2.
Hashtag speedrun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I got my notes here for Superman and Lois. So this episode was called "Oh Mother, Where Art Thou?" And
Art thou.
Art. So we find out the backstory from Morgan Edge, and I have a couple questions about it. But we get the reveal that he is a half brother of Kal-El, that they share the same mother. But correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think this is from the comics. This is something.
No,
the show
I think.
correct?
Yeah, I think it's a new thing that the show is doing.
So his name is Tal-Ro,
and his father's name is Zeta-Ro.
Right. Now, apparently, Laura, who is Superman's mother, who we know is with Jor-El, was originally paired up with Morgan Edge's father, Tal-Ro's father.
Yeah.
And so we don't know. Did they really? I don't think they explained why how she was able to leave him and to be with Jor-El. I don't know if they explained
the whole Lara and Jor-El and just that L family was sort of like against Kryptonian status or like rules anyway. So they
I wasn't sure how they could do it. Is all
you could argue they were the first edgy Kryptonians. So it makes you wonder: is Eric related to them? Is there a Kryptonian Eric doppelganger?
Maybe
he's a part of that
possible.
family.
It's possible.
How do we know Eric's not Kryptonian?
I've already had people saying that I look like Jor-El from the show. So there we go. There's that. I
didn't even realize that. So now I can call you Jor-Eric.
Yeah. I actually did a Jor-El cosplay like 5 years ago of the Jor-El from Man of Steel. I had like the whole suit and everything. I have it somewhere in the house. So yeah. Anyway, getting back to
wait.
This,
okay, so you did a Russell Crowe cosplay
of Jor-El. Yes.
Can we get a Maximus from Gladiator cosplay next week from you?
No.
Would people want that?
Are you entertained? Are you entertained? There you go.
Spam Eric on Twitter. Gladiator cosplay or cancelled.
Yeah. So we find out that not only was he Superman's half brother from this like weird family thing, but he arrived on Earth first, which really shakes up Superman's story from almost every iteration of Superman, because that would mean he was there before Supergirl as well. So he's been there for a while, and he landed in was it Europe somewhere or UK or
it was in Britain. It was in Britain, yeah.
And so he was
hence the accent.
Yeah. He was hunted there, and he used his heat vision on people and stuff like that. And then it kind of skips ahead to what we're doing now, which is him masquerading as Morgan Edge. I guess my question is, was Morgan Edge ever a real person? Was that discussed in the episode? Or was he just pretending to be Morgan Edge?
I think from what they're telling is that Morgan Edge was never Morgan Edge.
So Clark Kent is Kal-El and Morgan Edge is Tal-Ro. So he's always been Tal.
And Kara Danvers is Kara Zor-El.
Right. I mean, I'm saying that's his alter ego or whatever. So I don't even want to talk about pre-Crisis, which is the Morgan Edge we had on Supergirl, because I feel like that is gone. That Morgan Edge just doesn't exist anymore. That this is the one that we have now, post-Crisis, because I don't think that's ever going to get addressed, because I feel like that's
especially because Supergirl's on its way out. So
it seems kind of silly for them to actually address that. So what did you think of this twist overall? I actually thought that they pretty much nailed what I wanted in terms of like making it make sense to me, because I didn't question any of this. I feel like it's a very good way to tell the story, and it just again to me shows that the writers of Superman and Lois sort of know what they need to do on the show, right? I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
So you enjoyed the twist, or you don't really see any issues with it at all? Because I don't really have any problems with it whatsoever. So,
which is the Morgan Edge twist in general?
Yeah.
No, not really. I think like once you look back at different parts of the season, the only thing you can argue is about the Arrowverse from before,
right?
And that because that version of Morgan Edge 1 wasn't British, and 2 obviously showed if like he wouldn't let himself get put into prison like that, like he was.
Yeah. Now, the only question I have, not about the twist, but about the Morgan Edge thing in general is, and you can maybe give me your perspective on this in the chat also, if you guys want to as well. Being a Kryptonian and being there as long as he was, why did he decide to hide and do this businessman persona instead of just trying to rule the world? Because as a Kryptonian, he would have been there obviously before Superman. I don't see why he wouldn't have just attempted to do it before at some point instead of just hanging out for 40 some years and then waiting to do it later. Do you have any theories about that?
The whole process that he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, because I get what he's doing now, but I feel like the hiding from people is something he wouldn't have to do, right? He's a Kryptonian. So I'm just kind of curious what his reasoning behind that is.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not too sure. Maybe it was just.
Do you think we're going to get more backstory on him? Because he's not.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe he thought there would be others coming to Earth. It wasn't just going to be him.
Right. Because I get that he wanted to build an army. I understand that part, but I don't understand why he would have to hide as a businessman. I'm guessing maybe because I don't know, maybe he needed to win the trust of the people of Smallville to get them to do this process. It's the only real sort of question mark for me in his storyline is why that was. But I'm guessing that they'll probably address that later on. I feel like we're going to go back to it at some point. Maybe not.
There's still 5 episodes to go.
There is, and it's not enough for me to be like, I hate it, because I think the twist is good. It's just I was kind of questioning his intention there. Mark Hell here with the 499 super chat. They basically said Clark found out he wasn't the only Kryptonian left, as if C doesn't exist. Do the kids not know about Kara? I just don't think they're mentioning it. I don't think that they don't know about Supergirl being related or whatever. Maybe they haven't had that discussion. I mean, I would assume they would know that Supergirl is related to Superman, but they may not know about her secret identity. And I don't know if they're ever going to go over that.
It's weird because they've said that they've had 2 references to Kara that have both been cut.
Yeah.
They had a photo. They had literally a photo of Melissa Benoist, and they cut that from the episode.
Yeah.
I think Lois puts it. I think it was when they're moving in, and Lois holds it up, and then they put it somewhere in the house. And there's another one when they're from the first few episodes, and there was another one. I think they just talk about Kara.
Yeah, I wish they would just at least mention her or acknowledge her, because I feel like it's this weird thing now they're not doing. So
it's like they're avoiding it.
Yeah, which is weird. $2 super chat. What are your thoughts on the Stargirl trailer? So I didn't do a video on that. I know Paige, you put a video out on the Stargirl trailer. You talked about it quite detail. I thought it was really good. I've been excited. I was excited for Stargirl season 2 before the trailer even dropped. So I think the trailer is to get people hyped that may have forgotten that we're going to get a season 2 of Stargirl, but I don't think any of us have. And I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it. Stargirl is another show like Superman and Lois where the production, and by the way, I do want to say this, based on the trailer though, it doesn't look like the production quality has changed. Would you agree? I feel like it's still at the same level it was in season 1. Correct?
Yeah, and because I talked to someone that worked on it, and he pretty much just said it literally just comes down to creative choices and time.
Yeah.
And it does help that they do film in their own sort of little town. It's not like Superman and Lois where they built a town.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas Stargirl films, it's it's a little town outside Atlanta. So it really helps them in regards to they can do more creative shots and it's more open.
Mm-hmm.
But it just really comes down to wanting to do that.
Right.
But it granted, it does help that the show came out. It's only just started to come out, because once a show starts, it's pretty rare you see a show change how it's made. I don't think you really see it that much, especially on network TV. So, yeah.
So going back to Superman and Lois, we have the Eradicator now on the series. And this is weird because the Eradicator and Steel, John Henry Irons, I mean, they're referencing the death of Superman characters, the Superman that came in.
And then we got 2 potential Superboys.
Right. Yeah. Do you like the way they're doing? Because this isn't even close to what the story was in the comics. Are you okay with this change? I feel like it works for the show, because we've had shows change. Obviously Flashpoint's been different. There's been other stories that have been different from other series. Are Are you okay with this so far? I know a lot of people are going to be mad because it is so connected to the whole like death of Superman, but I don't have an issue with it. I think it's fine.
It's very important to remember, like, a lot of people don't like Death of Superman.
Right.
Like, I think it's an okay storyline, but I don't think it's amazing. Like, I think it's more maybe the fact that you get some of these other characters like Steel and the Eradicator and Superboy and Cyborg Superman and stuff like that. But even a lot of like comic creators and people that love Superman don't really like Death of Superman too much because it felt like it was a stunt thing just to get people to buy.
It was a thing in the 90s that happened because everybody was doing these big storylines with these edgy characters, and
yeah, and it was like you don't know what you got until it's gone, and then they killed Superman and then brought it back.
And then we had that weird red Superman, blue Superman storyline or whatever that happened after that too. So,
like, I prefer if they do a storyline that involves elements of that, but without actually killing Superman, then I wouldn't mind seeing. I'd be interested to see why they do it and how it happens and stuff if they go down that route, though.
Yeah, Naruto says looked it up. Tauro is a CW original character. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it's good. I think that's a good idea. All right. So the next thing here is we see Lana volunteer for the Kryptonite process so they can get Superman's biological mother to come in to work with this tech so they can unwhammy everyone. And I thought this was pretty interesting. At first I was like, they dated, so immediately I'm like, that's kind of weird, right? Isn't that kind of strange? But it made sense because of what happened with Kyle and her wanting to do that for him and stuff. So I guess it did make sense. And of course, Lana has been a pretty big part of the season already. So how did you feel about this portion of the episode?
I thought having Lana become Lara was like the perfect choice in that whole thing. I thought, like, I couldn't have think anyone else that could have taken them, like, except maybe Lois,
which would have been even weirder. Like, if it would have been Lois.
I think it was smarter to have it be Lana.
Yeah.
I think they nailed it in regards to that. It's gonna be interesting because next week is like that whole flashback episode, and it looks like you get to see when like Clark comes back to Smallville and sees Lana with Kyle, sees that they've started dating, and it sort of like moves him onto Lois, I guess. Because I wonder if like the whole thing that kept Clark like somewhat attached to Smallville was Lana. Like, it was maybe the only reason he didn't want to leave initially was Lana, and then he comes back and she's with Kyle, and maybe it's a big moment or something like that. But yeah, like, I had no issues with it. Thought they did a really, really good job with it.
I do want to talk briefly about the kids this episode, because this is the first episode where I felt like they did some really stupid stuff. And it felt like it was kind of forced for the storyline, like her going in to see her dad and then being told that it wasn't her dad, but then she's kind of shocked that it's not her dad. And then the kids arguing with their grandfather. I don't know. That portion of it was probably the only thing that I just didn't care for. And, you know, the kids' storylines have been pretty good this season. So even though it's not bad, when it's iffy, I'm always like, I don't know if I really like that or not. So I didn't care too much for that particular part of it, but I think the kids all did good in terms of like delivering on what they needed to deliver, right? The emotional part of it and everything. And so did you think for a second when everything went down that Jordan was going to try and help fight? Because I thought for a minute, I'm like, he's going to try and help, like with his dad and everything, when the army of Kryptonians came into town or whatever. Did you think he was going to do it? I was hoping he was going to like just at least get a punch in somewhere or something like that. But
not really. But the thing I was wondering was that when that blast came out from the invention thing from Lara, I was wondering if it was going to affect anyone. Like, it might have kickstarted Jonathan's powers or something like that.
I keep waiting for him to get something. Like, I really.
Well, I think we've already got little breadcrumbs and seeds and stuff like that because he was able to pick up Steele's hammer, which shouldn't be overly light, and like a 15, 16-year-old picking that up.
Yeah,
and then of course it seemed that he moved fast with his hand to block Jordan's punch.
Yeah,
so I think there's little things there.
Yeah. $2 super chat from Captain J. Batwoman's going to start having a team starting with Batwing. Well, I mean, you can argue there's already a team Batwoman. Luke is already a member of the team, sort of like how Cisco, even before he was Vibe, he was a member of Team Flash. Luke is just essentially his evolution is very reminiscent of how Cisco became Vibe. He'll just eventually start going out in the field and doing stuff. I actually am curious to how much more he's going to get, because we've already seen how good Cameras is in this role, that it's almost like he kind of deserves his own show, which is crazy. But we'll see. Another super chat here from Geek Information. I tagged you in something for Superman and Lois, a writer about the Kara stuff on Twitter, I guess. Maybe, possibly.
What? I'm going through Alzheimer's. I can't remember things. What didn't I remember?
Did somebody say you didn't remember something?
A. Clark. I don't even know whether that's in reference to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll look into it. Geek Information. Thank you so much. Let's see.
R.I.P.
I don't know. So let's wrap up the Superman and Lois stuff and talk about the big finale.
Wrap it up, dude.
The battle between all the Kryptonians, like Superman versus like 50 Kryptonians, and using his solar flare to charge up the Eradicator to reverse the process. And how well that scene was done. That was like a movie level scene, right? I mean, that was pretty intense. The special effects and stuff on Superman and Lois, I mean, we always talk about them, but it always shocks me at how much they're able to do on a TV show, because that was pretty crazy, directing wise and visual effects and everything. But we all know that after doing a solar flare, at least what we've seen with Supergirl and stuff, that he's going to need time to get his powers back up, which is why I think he goes to the fortress at the end with the Eradicator. What did you think of that whole big finale act in the episode? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Some people said it looked really cheap. I disagree. I think it looked.
I didn't think it looked cheap. I think it looked pretty good, especially even if it was streaming. I thought it would look good. But the fact it was network TV, I thought it looked really good. Yeah, I thought it was like Morgan, you didn't train your subjects very well because they just kept powering that thing that depowered them. So
that was like, yeah, I get it.
But yeah, I thought the whole sequence looked really, really cool. And I liked the bit where he was sort of like when they first started flying and the sunset was in the background. You could see them. It almost looked like Apocalypse Now or something with the helicopters in the background.
Yeah.
Like that looked really, really cool.
Yeah.
The one thing is that I didn't realize that Leslie La wasn't there. So when she showed up at the end, I was like, oh shit, she didn't lose her powers. But like, is Leslie La? She's completely transitioned.
Yeah, I think she was the first one after the Morgan Edge.
It was her and the guy that she killed in that episode 3 or 4.
Because I think wasn't it like Lara said that at a certain point it's irreversible. So I think hers.
I think Lara said it was that, or Lara as Lana said that it was like it could be 2 weeks, it could be months. It depends how willing the host is,
right,
to sort of let it in. If that makes sense.
Latin Shark here says something with the super chat that I was asking myself as well, and I'm going to tell you what I think happened, but I don't think they explained it.
I think they explained it.
Okay, so I don't know if they did. You can correct me, but I'm assuming it's because they still had a Kryptonian physiology sort of when they hit the ground or something. Yeah, maybe, possibly.
It's like how Superman kept flying, was able to fly all the way to the Fortress of Solitude before he sort of had to like. Yeah,
it doesn't. It's not like an on and off switch. It literally fades away.
It fizzles out. It's just like it fizzled out. So they had enough of that still within them to
safely land to the ground,
to hit the ground and not feel the damage of it.
Yeah, I mean that's all I assume, because once they wake up from this process, they're just going to be themselves again, is what I'm guessing. Well, maybe they might still have some residual stuff, but we don't know for sure.
I think they have the residual. They might have some residual like powers and stuff, but the Kryptonian identity is not in control. Like that won't be in control. But I think by the time we pick up with them again, it would have all fizzled out.
This is another question I saw a lot. I've seen a lot of people on social media talking about the Kryptonians not hearing the plan they were having. I'm assuming Superman is aware of that, and maybe he accounted for that by talking super soft or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
But it's very important to remember there has to be like a trigger point for the Kryptonian to take over. Right. Like we saw with Kyle and stuff like that. It's sort of like sit in the background until they take control and can use the powers.
Right.
It's like almost like a bipolar, like a different, like was it just like the identity disorder, might I say?
Yeah. Versus says the show says the Kryptonian consciousness will remain in the Eradicator and their powers would dissipate over time. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much what happened. That was my theory though. Before I even
it was even like the because someone like sort of like they chucked an Eric and nitpicked online. And I think it was the writer of the episode explained it. It was like, oh well, this is why.
Yeah. Okay, so the end of the episode, we see that Morgan and Lesla still are there. They still got their powers. What do you think their next plan is? Because they obviously have something they're going to do. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I think they're going to make their own like sort of fortress thing, or at least a base of operations. Because I think I said in my review, they can't just walk back into Edge Corp.
Right. His cover's blown. Like there's no more. Yeah.
He took a risk, and the risk didn't really work out at first. But it's not like he's completely gone. He can still restart because at least he's got Leslie. Or, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the next stage in the plan is, or in this new plan. But I don't know if that rock face was meant to be like, because we had Superman go to the Fortress of Solitude, then we cut to Morgan. He's out there. I don't know if that's meant to suggest he's making his own sort of fortress thing. Or if it was a mine with Kryptonite, because it didn't look like it was connected to anything. It looked like it was in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere near one of the mines, unless it's somewhere that they think Kryptonite is. I'm not too sure. I'm sure we'll find out next episode. Or maybe not next episode, the episode after.
Zoe Saldana will play Hawk Girl. Is there something that I missed online, or?
I think that would be a bit controversial. I think if Zoe Saldana, isn't she South American?
Yeah.
That could be controversial, so I don't know. But then again, like, The Rock playing Black Adam, so I don't think it really
matters. Or did
he
find the fortress? No, that wasn't. They were not at the Fortress of Solitude.
They were in, like, the desert. It was like the middle of the desert or something like that.
Maybe it's that fortress from Supergirl they used in, like, season 4, I think. Season 3, season 4. I don't remember when it was.
What, is that the rain one?
Yeah.
That weird, I don't know, maybe it's a version of it.
All right, so let's talk about The Flash. Masquerade.
Wait, did your armband, little sweatband, say absolutely everybody?
No, it says absolute, the vodka.
Vodka.
Not sponsored.
Wow.
Not
Eric,
sponsored.
You're
Not
trying
sponsored.
to be Kyle. Hashtag drunk alert.
Not sponsored.
Hashtag alcoholic.
No, I did an event where there was a lot of absolute swag that they gave out. So I got a bunch of stuff. So this
flexing.
is one of them,
See, you can't go 2 minutes without flexing.
I always have to flex, right?
Wow.
So well, speaking of flexing, let's talk about this Eric Wallace flex by doing another filler episode for the season with this masquerade. This episode is highly controversial on social media. There are people that are just like, I mean, you would think that like one of the biggest crimes of humanity has been committed. I did not like the episode. I think there's a lot of problems with the episode, but I can't even account for the amount of people that are upset about what's happening on The Flash right now. And I have so many notes over here. So let's start out with what the focus of the episode was, which is, look, Cody said someone's related to the show said Carl was off limits.
What? Well, I don't know, because they said that they actually filmed stuff where Kara is mentioned and or shown, like in photos and stuff like that. But obviously after, like in the post-production, they were removed. So
would I take shots? Not for free. Not for free. So this episode primarily
$5 super chats for a shot.
This episode focused on Chester and Cecile. I think they were the main focus of the episode because they both got pep talks, and usually a pep talk means that they are connected to the main story. You don't give pep talks to people that are not connected to the main story. But anyway, so we had those two characters, and this was the follow-up that we got from the end of last week where Cecile was looking in the mirror and we saw the mask and we surmised that it could be Psycho Pirate, and it is kind of Psycho Pirate. It's the mask, but it's not actually Psycho Pirate. It's just the mask itself, right? With like a demon in it. Isn't that how the conclusion they came to? That there was some demon trapped in the mask? Wasn't that what?
I think it's like a possessive force attached to the mask that clings onto someone to sort of like, because it needs a host.
Right, but didn't they say that was because it was a demon that was trapped in the mask, right? Isn't that what how it happened, or the story that they came up with?
It was some sort of supernatural thing.
Okay. All right. So the mask, from what they say, reaches out to people and seduces them into
#edgy.
So the one thing I didn't understand is the mask this is so confusing. Is the mask capable of possessing people without actually being on the person? Or is that something that was unique to Cecile?
I'm not too sure if it was unique to Cecile because of her power set, but then again, her power set isn't like...
It's not telepathic anymore.
It's not telepathic. It's she can maybe read someone's mind through emotions.
But that's not the same thing as the mask.
It's not the same. It's not the same thing. So I just assumed it was just something due to Cecile's powers, but I didn't want to 100% get it at the same time because I think they sort of brushed over it.
Right.
Because the thing is that
Lone Wolf. Go ahead.
I think the thing is that because it was only for one episode, they didn't even bother like to really explain it too much. It's just like, oh, this is from...
But I hate that. That's what that is one of the things that gets under my skin the most, is because Psycho Pirate is a character that a lot of people wanted to be more involved with Crisis, obviously because of the comics. So they're bringing this character back, and we get this episode that just feels, I don't know, ham-fisted is probably the best way to put it.
The best way to put it, because I think it cuts out a lot of like babble around it, is that the clear thing is that if they wanted to, I think doing this episode was fine, but they got in the wrong half of the season. Because how do they explain that, like the cover for it?
Yeah.
No, what was the cover for it? That she got hit by the purple lightning.
Yeah. The cover about the Sage Force, because of the forces being born.
So why didn't they make it? Obviously, this ties into like how the fact they should have made Psyche the villain for that first half thing. But why wouldn't they put this storyline and attach it to Psyche?
That's in my note. That's literally in my notes. I'm not kidding you right now. I said that if the mask wanted a powerful avatar, Bashir would have been the most powerful thing to attach.
Well, it's not even that. You didn't even have to do the Psycho Pirate thing. But if you wanted to, because I think the mask is irrelevant really to the greater thing. I think the main point of the episode is that they wanted to dive into Cecile, and that was like, I think they just used.
Oh, you mean connecting her issues from her trauma with
and make it that the fact that she's experiencing it due to Psyche.
You know what I thought of? I just thought about this. So Cisco said his nightmare was tied to the whole thing with Star Labs, and it bothered him enough to make him leave, right? If Bashir was going after Cecile, wouldn't this have been the darkest thing it could have pulled out from her nightmares? So she didn't suffer from any of this.
Or it's something that she's bottled up, and she's been able to bottle up successfully for all these years. And when Psyche triggers it, it releases it, and it sends her into this state where she's trapped.
That's
in this
a really good
prison.
point. I didn't think about that. But my point was that Bashir could have been a powerful avatar for the mask. And so why would he go after Cecile? Because Bashir's powers are more related to what the mask does than what Cecile does. And how would the mask even know how to align covering up it going after Cecile when it's been doing this for years without needing a cover up from anybody?
Yeah,
like the mask has existed before that. So
it makes me think that this episode was they came up with this episode late, because I think the basis of the episode is fine, if not good, because it lets us dive more into Cecile, which is important. You know, like without these characters that we, but it should have been 100% been either in that first Psyche episode or in an episode afterwards, and you really got to feel the extent of what Psyche can do to someone through Cecile. Because is there any, like, we've already dealt with stuff with other people's past and stuff like that, but you can really do it with Cecile. And you could even make an argument, actually a very good argument, that next week's episode with Allegra should have been the first half of the season, and should have been her dealing with the loss of Nash and being like, well, because it seems like it's about like all this like family stuff. And so they've gotten we're going to have 2 episodes in a row this week that we just had, and next week, which are episodes that should have been in the first half. Yeah.
So I'm reading Haley's comment here, and I didn't even think about this because I'm not someone, I don't suffer from depression. I don't have those things in my life. So from my perspective, I thought, well, they did a great job of showcasing, mental illnesses and bringing attention to it. But I didn't think about the fact that some of this could have been taken offensively because of the way it was portrayed in the show.
And it's because I didn't think it was offensive, but I think they didn't treat it as heavily or as they could have put as much of a focus on it in regards to the resolution side of it, because it's not such a short process. But I think the fact is because we had that outside storyline where they were hunting for the mask.
Right.
If you do that in a Psych episode, you don't. We just know that Psych did it to her. And then you can have the entire episode where it's pretty much Cecile dealing with that stuff.
Right.
Then you don't have to keep cutting back and forth from it, where it's them hunting for this mask and then dealing with this controlled Cecile when she gets the mask.
And thank you for sharing that, by the way, Haley. That was very nice of you. But I didn't even think about that. And that's something that I didn't even take into account there. But I will say this. I think Danielle did a great job portraying these two sides of her, which I think, given the circumstances and the wonkiness of the episode, she kind of pulled that out. And I also thought Chester did a really good job in his portions of the episode as well, which speaks to the quality of the acting versus like how well the episode is directed or written or whatever. But yeah, that was one of the things in my notes, was the thing about her and why picking that issue with her. And Bashir would have been a more suitable storyline for that. I did put that in there as well. Yeah,
like even Flash Freak says years ago I suffer from depression. Haley is right. Pep talks don't do anything. Well, pep talks, if anything, can seem insulting to someone. She's like, hey, get over it. Hey.
Get that chip off your shoulder. Put a smile on your face. I mean, yes, they are. Because the thing is, pep talks make it worse. That's actually and the funny thing is, ironically funny, is I just had a conversation a few days with someone who is battling with depression, and they said the worst thing you can do when somebody is depressed is tell them to cheer up, because
and play it down.
Right, because that's not how you handle it, which is literally what they do on The Flash for everything. And we got it was on Ben's video, I think. I can't remember the person that posted it, but they said, we got no pep talks this week, and that's what made it good. We got 2 this week. We didn't get 1, we got 2, maybe 3 if you count the Joe scene at the end. But we had 1 with Chester, we had 1 with Cecile, 1 with Iris and Chester, with Barry and Cecile, and then Joe and Cecile at the end. So we got 2.5 pep talks this week. And
imagine if we got 3.5.
It would have been perfect. It would have lined up perfectly with the universe. But there's the thing. Oh, look, someone has arrived in the bottom box there. They've arrived. Look, they're not even home. They're talking from a mobile device. Look.
I'll be 1 minute, guys. The Quizmaster's on his way.
The Quizmaster. Don't even try to upset that.
I cannot hear you. It's so loud.
Okay, we get it, Ben. We get it. Wait, did Ben just walk past the red light district? Okay,
He did, absolutely. So he's excited about a quiz, and we're still talking about The Flash. So anyway, this is what happens when you don't show up on time. So where was I talking? Oh yeah, the pep talks and stuff. So in this episode, I will say that yet again, Barry was not even remotely in the category of being a lead on the episode. Like, he felt sort of like we talked earlier about Javicia and Ryan Wilder. Well, Grant is Barry on The Flash. I mean, I made a joke on my review. I said we should just call it Team Flash, because I mean, it really isn't about Barry. And actually the article we're going to read here in a couple of minutes kind of jumps into that too, because we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this episode, and because I think we kind of, it's not really a lot to go over, but it's one of those things where if you want to tell a story about mental illness and depression and accountability for that and dealing with it and stuff like that, you have to also tell a story about the show, the characters on the show, the lead of the show, and you have to make it work together. And if you can't do that, then both of those things suffer. You don't nail the story about, addressing issues, and you also don't showcase the lead character of the series, and it sort of falls apart. So I actually think what Eric Wallace is trying to do here is he's trying to juggle too many things and not focusing enough on one thing. which is the opposite of the way he's handling the season, which is graphic novel, interlude graphic novel, which makes sense. I think totally makes sense, on board with that. But when you can't take that and apply it within your episodes, it sort of crumbles apart. And a lot of people are saying this is the worst episode. I don't even know how I would classify this episode, because it is a bottle episode. The only thing in it that's really going to carry over is the stuff with Kramer, which is Joe's storyline, and maybe some stuff with Cecile. But outside of that, it's almost like it doesn't matter. It's almost like a waste of time a little bit. You know what I mean? At least that's how I feel.
It's a waste of time in a season where they don't have a lot of time.
Right.
Which doesn't really help when we're doubling down that next episode, with what even seems like a bigger waste of time.
Yeah. So Introverted Unicorn says pep talks Chester Barry telling us to keep their business at home. So, that scene was kind of cringy to me at the beginning, but I didn't really care. I was like, whatever,
Out of context, I've just seen Ben's thing in the chat and just says it's going to be hard.
I saw that out of context. So here's the thing. With the Cecile and the Iris and stuff, there's a way they could have done this storyline with mental health awareness while still keeping it about the main characters. And all it did is require some shifting of who's where. Like, for example, Iris, in my opinion, still hasn't totally dealt with her Mirrorverse time. Like, I know we saw her going to like therapy or whatever for one episode, but I feel like that's still something that could be exploited, right? So they could have had Iris and Cecile together in this mindscape place and had Barry on the outside trying to help, because that would have made more sense than Barry could have still been somewhat useful in the episode. They talked about reaching out to Bashir. They could have actually reached out to Bashir to have him help somehow. They could have said that he got turned down or something like that. Anyway, they could have done something. They could have just focusing characters and shifting them around would have made all the difference. But they don't really want, and again, this article we're going to get into, I don't think they really want to tell a story about Barry Allen anymore. I feel as if the show is not even Iris. It's like they're shifting away from Barry, and right after that is like Iris. Everything else, it's basically the show is about everybody but those two characters, which is very weird to me. So anyway, we're going to move away from I guess we could talk about the Kramer stuff. The Kramer stuff is they found out that she's got some dirty stuff going on in her closet, some
dirty laundry.
And that's going to tie into the Joe stuff and his storyline, which they did address last September, police corruption storyline. So there's that. I think that'll carry over, and I'm a robot. All right. So Staggervore with a 1999 super chat. Yesterday, I read an article explaining why The Flash is focusing more on diverse characters, particularly the females. And while I'm all for diversity, I don't think it excuses sidelining the direct main character. And that is exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to talk about this article. And I want to be very clear here that the article, there's some things in it. No, there's things in it that I actually agree with. The problem is I don't think the show is doing a good job of following through on their promises. Now, this directly ties into what we're dealing with on the show right now. And it says at the top here, there's a reason why The Flash is telling more diverse stories now. The showrunner says he can't stand when a show doesn't reflect the real world. I mean, half of that I agree with. Diverse stories, huge thumbs up. I am totally on board with that. But then you want a show about superheroes to always reflect the real world? That's just not possible.
I do wonder, because if you asked Eric Wallace why he watched a show when he was in his teens, in his 20s, in his 30s, I'm not too sure how old he is. I'm going to assume he's in his 40s. Why do you watch a show for the most part? It's to escape. It's to enter that world.
Yeah.
That's why I think most people here didn't want to watch a show and go, oh, I can't wait for COVID to be in the show and see people dying on the street. I can't wait to see that. No one was saying that because you watch the show to escape from the real world, whether it's your own personal problems or just the larger problems within the world. The Flash is the perfect example of entering a world. The Arrowverse as it is, whether it's the Arrowverse, the MCU, the DCU, these fantastical worlds or these, superhuman worlds, where they're completely different. They're set in a different thing. So you enter it to escape from reality.
Exactly.
Sure, should it deal with some stuff? Yeah, that's fine. But when it's like you can't stand when a show doesn't reflect the real world. Fair enough if it's fucking like Grey's Anatomy or CSI New York or something. Fair enough.
Right.
But when it's The Flash set in Central City, a city that doesn't exist, in
the
Starlight,
irony of the show, the irony of the statement, but then not addressing COVID. You know what I mean? Like you want the show to reflect the real world, but you're literally ignoring the biggest thing that happened in the world this past year.
Yeah.
No, Latin Shark, you're not the only one. The directing was particularly off this week. So you're not the only one. All right, so we're going to scroll down here. I've got a few things highlighted. It says, representation has always been at the forefront of The Flash since it's premiered, but now with the showrunner and executive producer Eric Wallace at the helm, the long-running CW series is finally showcasing more diverse characters and storylines in its 7th season. But the first line of this says, representation has always been at the forefront of The Flash since it premiered.
Why the change? So then
why the change? That statement doesn't make any sense. It's like saying we went to pizza where they serve pizza, but now they're going to start serving pizza. Like, it was already existing on the show. Matter of fact, the casting of Candice Patton as Iris was a huge controversy, and it was a big step for the series. And they went into that with like both feet first, planted on the ground, and said, we're just going to run with this. And that was a big deal. So the show has never not been a show that went away from diversity. It was a very like the cast itself was diverse. So I don't understand that statement. Then it goes on, it goes, there are people watching the show of all ages, all races, all religions, all creeds. They need to know that Black women, people of color in general, there's more to us than just the one side you see all the time. We are fully realized, fleshed out, three-dimensional people. And the only way to really express that is to give them time to shine in the spotlight.
Do we even have to point out the irony of that statement?
Well, what would be the irony for you there?
4-letter word, 4-letter name.
Iris?
Iris is like this, like Iris is extremely one-dimensional a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Unless she's with Barry. That's pretty much it. That's when you see Iris and maybe Joe.
And there's more in this article that talks about that, so I can't wait to get to that.
And the Joe and Iris stuff is limited. Like Iris really you get
right
outside of that first half of season 6, like pretty much as soon as Iris entered the mirror dimension, she became one dimension.
Right.
And I feel bad for Candice Patton because at the beginning of season 6, I was like, wow, Eric Wallace is doing a really good job with it. I think we were all saying that.
Yeah.
And then the Mirrorverse happened. And it makes you wonder, maybe Iris shouldn't have been the one that went in the Mirrorverse.
Right. Levi, you make a good point. And that is one thing that I don't know if Eric Wallace has really even addressed, honestly. So I have no idea. But that is a good point. I will agree with that. So I will say here, we'll just go on. The hit show centers adventures. This is the funny. The hit show centers on the adventures of Barry Allen, who becomes the titular DC comic book hero after a particular accelerated Star Labs explodes and he's struck by lightning. Barry vows to use his metahuman powers to protect the citizens of Central City while fighting crime with the help of his wife, Iris West Allen, and Team Flash. By the way, Iris and Barry are two of the characters that the show is supposed to center on, and it hasn't been that for a while now. It hasn't been that for a while. So that's a little weird. Here we go. It goes, the Flash challenged its status quo from when Patton was cast as leading lady and ace reporter Iris. Casting Patton as the character whose comic book counterpart is white was a controversial move at the time. It was also a groundbreaking decision since few comic book based shows or movies had delved into Black people's stories, let alone Black women's stories. While Black women embraced her, diehard comic book fans and racists took issue with the show, straying from its source material. But now it's clear that Iris, the love that she and Barry have for each other, is the anchor of the show. I will totally agree that it was controversial. I also agree there was a bunch of people out there who were just being racist and going after her for this and everything. And that happened a lot at the beginning of the series. My issue with Iris has nothing to do with any of this. I think it's absolutely great that they wanted more representation and they decided to do this change. No issue with this whatsoever. My issue is Iris is just not particularly written well. And Eric Wallace said he committed himself before the season even came out that he wanted to give Iris a bigger part of the show and make her story more fully realized. And that has yet to happen. I'm asking now, when is that going to happen? When are we going to get an actual Iris West Allen story that is unique to her, that does not somehow surround like Team Citizen or some mirror dimension or doing things that she just doesn't have to do that just reflect her as a character? Because we don't have that right now. And it goes on. There's even more to this that's just crazy. He could not be the Flash without her, and I don't think that's being said explicitly enough. However, I would say keep watching, and you might get that explicitly. So here's the thing. Like, beating us over the head by saying we are the Flash and she's his lightning rod doesn't fix the problem with the character.
And it also doesn't help.
Right.
Because everyone knows that Barry could be the Flash without Iris.
Exactly. But
anyone with half a brain knows that. So it doesn't.
Yes.
It really doesn't help the situation when you force something that people just roll their eyes at. Like when you force that down people's throats on a consistent basis, it really doesn't help the situation. Instead of constantly telling us, "Oh, Barry needs her, otherwise he can't run fast."
Yeah.
Give us another reason to care about Iris. Write a story around it.
It's a weird handicap that literally turns Iris into a plot device.
And it causes negativity around her because you're trying to force it down people's throats and force like this apparent thing that should be there when it's not, as he's saying, apparently it's explicitly there. It's not explicitly there. You're forcing it, if that makes sense.
And also, what makes me so angry about this is you look at Superman and Lois and you see that it is possible to write a character that literally does what I'm supposed to do, to give her a separate story, but tie into the main story and make it all work together. It's possible to do that. They just are not doing it, and I don't know why.
Yeah. The thing is, and I always say this, like, I think, look, coming into the show in season 6 and having to deal with where Iris was at that current point wouldn't have been easy because the damage had been done in the earlier seasons. Like season 4, I don't think you'll find you could argue back half of season 3 as well. I don't think you could probably see a more worse written like gender lead, whether it's male or female, on one of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was really bad, and I felt like the thing is that Candice Patton still did a good job, which shows her acting chops.
Yeah,
but man, they just didn't know what to do with the character.
Yeah,
and they should have like tried to had some sort of reset button. I don't like the fact that there's this team citizen. I prefer if it was just Iris. I prefer if she was just working at a company as a journalist. I don't like and we all know why they did it. So then Iris is on the same level as Barry. Barry's the team Flash. Iris is the team citizen, but they really should just had Iris working as a journalist before randomly starting this apparent media conglomerate thing that's meant to be a thing in 20 years. When on the show at the moment, they've written like one story. Like, how are they getting paid?
Naruto says there was Nora flirting with Spencer in season 5. There's a lot of questions whether or not Nora is going to come back and still be bisexual, though. I don't know if people are too confident in that. $5 super chat says they already did a lot with Iris. She created the forces. Iris is just Barry's wife since they married. I missed season 2. Iris, arguably, Iris was written better in the earlier seasons than she is now. And
yeah, season 1 and 2, Iris is outside of that weird boss stuff in season 2. You know, when she's like flirting with her boss or whatever it is.
Yeah, I remember that.
They just disappeared. It was weird.
Yeah.
Outside of that, she's very strong in season 1 and 2, and then she's very strong in the first half of season 6 before she goes into the Mirrorverse.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said this: she shouldn't have known that Barry was the Flash for a while.
Right.
They pulled the pin on that, or they, what do you want to call it? They revealed that way too early because then it completely swamps her in the world of Team Flash, and it gives them an excuse. It gives them an excuse to not show her as a journalist and just go, "Oh, okay, her screen time is her in Star Labs."
So here's another interesting quote from the article. It says, as much as The Flash is rooted in Barry and Iris' relationship, Wallace wanted to give Patton's characters more independence.
How? She's not.
That sounds great. That actually sounds really good. But have we done that yet? Have we done that?
She's always with someone.
I mean, this is my problem, is there is a lot of lip service about what they want The Flash to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of it just doesn't happen.
It's all, it's not walking the walk. If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk.
Right. Captain J.
Unfortunately, it's just love talking, no walking.
You think we'll see more of Sue next season? Sue was one of the best parts of the episode, to be completely honest. So I would love to see her come back, but until they definitively get rid of Ralph, it's always going to be awkward. So Laura says Allegra's more Team Flash than Team Citizen. At this point, you're right. And unfortunately, Allegra, hopefully next week's episode gives her more story, because right now it's very, very light on the storyline. Let's see here. This is an intro. I didn't highlight this one, but I do want to read this. Earlier in the show, Iris's role as a junior reporter at Central City Picture News was a minor storyline, but as the Flash continued, the bigger villains came into play. Her career became less prominent. That is true, which is something we all complained about, because I feel like she should have moved up at a certain point. That changed when Wallace.
That was the thing.
Yeah,
it should have been the opposite. She should have been this like metahuman specialist journalist that was always reporting on this stuff and focusing on the Flash. Like, everyone was apparently in season 1 obsessed with her blog about the whatever it was. Like, was it
the streak?
The streak. Yeah. Like, and then why can that naturally develop into like, okay, now it's the Flash, and then it naturally develops into
her blog is gone. They don't even mention that anymore. Like, it's almost like it just doesn't exist. Like, but then it goes, that changed when Wallace, then the first season as a writer on the show, penned the season 4 episode Run Iris Run, which the writers called a turning point. Iris temporarily acquires Barry's speedster abilities and uses her newfound powers to save the city. But at the end of the episode, Iris realizes reporting is her calling and restarts the Central City Citizen blog. People think of it as one where she gets speed, and I think of it as one where she doubles down and declares her independence as a woman. This is really weird to me, because wasn't Iris basically leading the team at the beginning of season 4?
Yeah. Yep.
And arguably, giving her superpowers and her realizing she doesn't need the speed is irrelevant. You could have told that story with Iris just realizing that she doesn't need powers, because she's been doing that for 4 seasons. Why is that a turning point for her character? Do we forget all of the storyline stuff that happened with Savitar? She was a very prominent part of that storyline, and her decision to let Savitar kill her was ultimately her decision. She embraced that. She's been making her own decisions for a very long time. Let's add Ben into the mix here. So it's a really weird thing. All right, so we'll go on here. It's why Wallace delved into the formation of Team Citizen, an all-female group of reporters led by Iris. But there's a thing here. They're talking about Team Citizen. When he talked about it, he goes, they were like, what is it? And I said, I'm not sure, but I know it's all women, all kick-ass, all doing their own thing, and it has nothing to do with the Flash unless their stories collide. Can you please explain to me, first and foremost, when the Citizen stories have had nothing to do with the Flash? That's never happened. Secondly, why would you want a storyline on a show called The Flash to have nothing to do with the Flash? No one tunes into The Flash to watch the Team Citizen show.
No one. I can't wait to see them write about that cupcake factory. What? No.
Ooh, it sounds so interesting.
It is so stupid to me, because I don't mind them giving Iris independent stories. But again, and I'm going to use this as the blueprint because it is the most relatable. With Superman and Lois has her own stories, but they always have some connective tissue, whether it be 2 or 3 episodes down the road, to Superman.
Yeah.
That is exactly what Iris should be doing, and she should have been doing it on The Flash well before Superman and Lois, because they've waited so long to give Iris a proper story about her job and her career that now we're playing catch up. And it feels like everything is being forced and rushed and smashed together because they drugged their feet on it for too long. That's the problem.
Wait, is Eric Wallace gaslighting us? Can you confirm that, Eric?
I don't know.
Eric,
maybe, possibly. So the only reason I'm ranting about this is because I don't disagree with like most of what he's saying in this article. I think diversity, inclusiveness, stories like that are absolutely important. Representation does matter, but you can't just say it and then not do it, because it seems really fucking stupid.
That's pretty much what this article, pretty much everything seems like, oh, this is what we wanted to do, but we did the complete opposite.
It's like celebrating Pride by putting Rainbow Raider in your show with a rainbow in it, but then never acknowledging the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
It's, oh, this is for Pride Month. Literally no conversations about characters being gay.
I had no idea that was for Pride Month.
It was the first episode in June during CW Pride, and
they
the Rainbow Raider.
Yeah,
acknowledge it at all.
It's stupid.
It's the most surface level thing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's kind of cool that they acknowledged it, but then after reading this article, it just makes me angry because you talk about diversity, you talk about inclusivity, you want all these people coming together and being prominent and featured on a show, and then the best you can do is putting a character in a rainbow suit. The best you can do with Iris is inserting her in little tidbits of story. Keep in mind, without even reading the rest of this article, there's no definitive story for Barry or Iris this season. There's nothing this season
outside of we had sex. Like that's pretty much their story.
Name one
And
thing
also,
yeah, go ahead.
Why are a married couple sneaking around?
Yeah.
They're sneaking around. Why are they sneaking around? They're married.
They could have the better way to do that scene with less awkwardness and a lot more maturity would have been them waking up in bed together after being under the covers and having Chester call them about something or FaceTime them about something from the lab.
Like FaceTime or
and
video
then they're
call.
laying in bed together and they're like, oh, sorry, and they turn it off. That would have made way more sense. But no, we're going to go with the low-hanging fruit and give you the American Pie version of it, where they're just acting like teenagers.
Wait, okay, hold on. Hypothetical situation. Next episode. Sorry, not next episode because Barry's not in it. The week after.
Barry's
episode where he's in it for like, yeah, okay, so Ben, okay, yeah. Firstly,
I'm going to close this article. It's just making me mad. I'm closing it.
Next week, it's Allegra's episode. Barry's in it for one scene, and Iris apparently isn't in it at all. And Caitlin's in it for a minimal amount because Daniel Panabaker's directing. So the main characters are Allegra and Chester.
So we're all just here for Chester's stuff, right?
Well, the thing is, Eric was saying that Chester may twerk. So buy
or
it.
chalk. I've got a rumor there's going to be a chalking on the episode.
They've been watching the after party. Hopefully, they don't watch this one. Oops.
No, I want them to watch this one. $2 super chat for both teenagers trying to experience new things. Absolutely, that is the vibe that I got. Pun intended from that.
Okay,
scene.
but next week. So you just said the American Pie thing. They've gone the American Pie route. Not next week, but the week after. The episode starts with Iris coming home, and she finds Barry with his Johnson within a pie. Thoughts?
Oh my god! What?
So Clifford DeVoe says, back in your review, said the cap controls the chair, but we've seen Marlies use the chair to teleport places without the cap when she left DeVoe. Yes, the chair does have functions without the cap, but in order to do what the mask wanted to do with Cecile, who doesn't have telepathy, you would need the thinking cap to do it. But they wanted an action set piece.
I just realized next week we're going to get Cicada returning, Chris Klein, and that will be the American Pie reference.
Hell yeah.
So Cicada's returning.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Out of these three, I would say for me is 100%
Mona.
Gary.
Not Mona?
I hated Gary.
I thought you hated Mona. I thought you hated Mona.
I dislike both of them, but Mona's gone. So I don't have to deal with her anymore. So for me, it's between Chester and Gary, and Gary's the worst right now.
Chester's actually good.
I don't dislike Chester. I think Chester's just not fleshed out yet. That's the problem.
Okay, hold on, Eric. Another hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
We get Allegra flashbacks and she's at band camp. What would your reaction be?
I would say, see, I called it. That's what I would say. I call it.
So wait, so you're saying you want the Flash to become American Pie the series?
No, I'm saying that that's what it's turning into.
Okay. I thought you were advocating for it.
No. This was another thing. Chester jumping out with the sword, 300. So lasers don't smash the shield, but Chester's sword does. I mean, are we really trying to decipher the garbage dumpster fire that has been the Flash for a few episodes now? I mean, it's really that's why I said it reminded me of Legends. I'm going to end it with talk about that article is I totally stand by the sentiment of representation, diversity, inclusivity. I stand by all of that. I think it's important, and I think everybody would like to see themselves featured. But the show is called The Flash, right? So if you want to do those things, you have to pair it up with what the show is about, because the show is not called Side Characters. The show. It's called The Flash. That's what people watch it for. If Eric Wallace really wanted to do everything that he's talked about, right? Why didn't he just do what Todd Helbing did and pitch a show to the CW that allows him to just introduce whatever characters he wants, create that show from the ground up, and do all the things that he wants to do, instead of basically hijacking a show that already has an established character and taking support characters and making the main character irrelevant on his own show.
Because the thing is if Eric Wallace is heading down the route to be the reason that the Flash potentially gets like taken off. Like they just decide to end it.
I agree.
It would 100% be Eric Wallace's fault, which is weird because we praised him for season 6.
Mm-hmm.
And we were praising him at the beginning of this season, but it's quickly taken this like steep downfall. And granted, I don't think the episodes are horrible. I think there's only been 2 episodes which have been like, what were they smoking? Because we've already, like, you weren't here, Ben, but we established that this episode would have been fine if it was in the first half and they did it with Psych.
I agree.
But the issue is that now we're going to have 3 filler episodes in a row. And was a Cisco episode needed? Of course it was needed, but it's still filler. So you have 3 filler episodes to kick off the back half of the story. The back half, the story for the back half of the season. Now we're going to have 4 episodes for this Godspeed thing, one of which includes the 150th episode, which has to introduce Bart Allen, make us care about and give us some backstory, and then reintroduce Nora, explain why she's alive again. And then Jay Garrick's coming back into it as well. There's heaps of crap going on in that episode.
It's a weird structure, and I know you guys are a fan of the graphic novel structure, but I don't think
I'm beginning to think it's a problem because this break in the middle is not good.
Yeah, because like there's 3. Okay, like I think the Cisco episode, should have always been there, right?
And that should have been like that break episode, just like how
it should have been. That should have been the one episode.
And then not this episode and not the next episode. We go straight to the Godspeed stuff.
Allegra's episode should have happened at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
like when it was more important. And the mind control thing with Cecile could have been done with Bashir. We could have completely separated the mask from it altogether. Bam. Less filler and more storyline taking. It just doesn't make any sense.
No filler.
Are we going to talk about a Team Flash robbed a museum? Can we also talk about the fact that Allegra has a item that lets them teleport beyond lasers? They could have literally teleported into that room and taken the mask. But I guess we're not going to even address that.
Well, they could have just bought Ralph and he was stretchy.
Yeah. Flash writers want to get, or they could have just turned the power off to their tech people. They could have done an e-impulse or something. There's a lot of other things they could have done, but then we couldn't have got the fun scene with like Sue like dancing through the lights. Yeah. $2 super chat. Flash writers want to get a good example from Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, it's heading in that direction. It really is. It really, really is. $10 super chat for multi-topic talk. We're gonna wrap this up because Ben's got a quiz. Did you do it on the Jeopardy?
Yeah,
thing?
it's on the platform.
Okay. Eric Wallace working on Arrow season 4. It's about to kill the Flash like Arrow season 4 did. I like season 7 because it's better than 5, but it doesn't feel right. So I know we don't normally talk about this because it doesn't have anything to do with the renewal or the cancellation of a show, which is the viewership numbers. But I do want to bring this up just to keep this in mind because it gives us a little perspective into what's happening with live viewing. So the Flash, like 2 seasons ago, was getting 1.5 million viewers on live viewing. And that was during like the Nora stuff back when they were dealing with that or whatever. We are at half of that now for live viewing. Now, some of that is going to be because people prefer to watch things on playback. And that's primarily what the CW looks at. But it's not the numbers and how much they've dropped. It's how quickly they've dropped. Because it isn't like they've taken 3 seasons to drop, 500,000 viewers. It's been less than a season. That's just not good for a show that was almost untouchable.
Well, the important thing to note is that it's pretty much getting the same viewers. Like I read somewhere, it's getting the same viewers live plus 7. So it means within that week period, the same amount of people are watching it. The issue is, and this is the big one, which really showcases the issue is that people aren't rushing to watch it live. So no one's willing to watch it. Less people are watching it live and dealing with ads than were that period ago, whatever it was.
That hurts its time spot because 8:00 on a Tuesday is a good lead-in for Superman and Lois. But if that show is not pulling in those numbers, it will affect the advertising for that.
Well, the good thing about it is that it doesn't really matter because Superman and Lois will be on a different time, different day next year. So
I know, but I'm saying
that's
like
good for the Flash.
It is good for the Flash. That's what I mean. Like if Superman and Lois was staying there, that would be a bad position for the Flash to be in because then maybe Superman and Lois would be leading in the Flash because right now Superman and Lois is on fire. They are doing so good right now, and so it's pretty crazy to me. But either way, I just want to wrap this up by saying.
By the way, Thomas goes, "I block the ads." It doesn't matter because you're not in America. It doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so before we go on, because you guys can still super chat questions or whatever, we are going to move into the quiz portion because Ben says he's the quiz master, so we'll have to see if he's a quiz master. But I will say this, that I still have a lot of love for The Flash. It is a show that
we all do. We all do, and that's why we're passionate when we because we're not going to be those like we're not going to be like those idiots like hashtag Snyder.
Yeah.
And just, take stuff out of context and bag the show, which you can do with literally anything. We're coming from a grounded place, watching the show from season 1, talking about it on a week-to-week basis, whether it's on our channels or through this live stream on a week-to-week basis.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we're talking about. We know what the show should be, what the majority of people want from the show. And that's why we talk about it this way. And it's not us bagging it. It's us raising concerns. And as I said, I've only found 2 episodes this season like really questionable. I'm like, what were they thinking during this process?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
this week wasn't one. This week wasn't one of them. This week was just like you've just misplaced this episode. Yeah. So if that's why, if I see anyone going, "Oh my god, you just trashed," no, we're not doing that because we're giving the reasons how it should have been done or the issues with it that need to be resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. That's why I don't really like that article from Eric Wallace, because it sounds like it's just like, oh, we're right, you're wrong when you criticize it. That's why I really dislike that article. And I thought Eric Wallace was the opposite of that. I thought Eric Wallace was because he was a fan of the show. He didn't join the show till season 4, I think it was.
Can I say this? I feel like he doesn't even care about the Flash being on the show, to be honest. I mean, the article was so one-sided. Where was the mention of a storyline for Barry to be part of this inclusivity? Because if you want people to feel like they're walking hand in hand and being introduced to the idea of inclusivity, you want the lead character to be involved in that. So you're subtracting Barry from that story, and therefore no one is getting the opportunity to see him get involved with other communities or somehow being a part of this world. Like, if you don't have a story for the lead character, then I feel like that's a failure of the show. Because if you're not focused on the lead and you're not doing the diverse stories in a good way, then what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing at that point? It just feels so unnaturally forced, and it's something that could be really organic to the show, because the footprints and the foundation for a diverse Flash show is already there. All you have to do is write the good stories.
It's been there since season 1.
Yeah.
You had a black West family. So making Iris black makes the entire West family. So from the get-go, we knew Wally West was going to be black. Yeah. So it wasn't this. That's why the question was like, where's Redhead Wally? It's like, where's your brain? Like, hello.
Yeah.
And then you have Cisco, so you have the Latino representation.
Mm-hmm.
You had Linda Park, your Asian representation in season 1. Like, more than half the show was diverse from memory in regards to like regulars. You had Captain Singh, who is I think the actor's Arabic, I want to say.
And he was gay on the show.
He's gay on the show with a husband. Yeah. Like, so to say like the Flash was
when the article started off, the show has been diverse from but now diverse to be in the forefront. It's like, I already knew the article was going to be like at that point. I'm like, okay.
Cecile wasn't. Yeah, it was Cecile. Cecile was in only in a few episodes from me. Like, she came back in like, was it season 4?
Yeah, but Captain Cold's story wasn't really explored until
Legends
tomorrow.
Who's Rob DeCar?
Not me.
All right. So it's time for the quiz. I hope you guys are ready. Ben, are you going to share your screen? I sent it to you in the private chat.
Yeah.
Come on, share your screen. Share your screen.
Okay.
Don't leak nudes.
$5 super chat. Quick reminder: season 6 was due good to Crisis and Bloodwork. I personally didn't really like the Mirrorverse. It dragged out. I will be honest with you. I did complain about the Mirrorverse story, feel like it went on for too long. But I would pay money to see that storyline right now, because it's so much better to me than what we're getting on the show right now. So, all right, here we go.
Is this the right view page?
You can go share tab from instead of share window. So if you click off it and go share tab.
Let me get this right. Share tab.
You got to click save, because we just saw the questions. Click save.
Oh shit. Okay.
I only saw one question. It was Arrowverse.
Yeah, that's why I took it down when I realized what he was sharing. I'm like, wait,
sorry. Okay, share tab.
And then it should pull up the point
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
It shouldn't have the questions. It should just have the 100, 200,
Okay,
300, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, two teams. There we go. All right.
You can, if you click on team 1 and team 2, you can change the names.
Sick. DJ Eric. Do your short name and Pag.
Yeah, we got
wow.
Pag.
There you
Wow.
go.
Happy with that.
Yeah.
Look, Flash Freak. Ben doesn't know technology. Boomer confirmed.
Yeah.
I think English
I'm
confirmed. English
So yes,
confirmed.
you can post answers in the chat because it's going to be a slight delay, and we only get a couple seconds to answer.
I've turned off the comments anyway.
I'm going to do that too. The only way I'll open it up is if there's a super chat. Oh, there's a super chat. The Flash is already diverse, begin with problems now. They're pushing the narrative further down our throats. 49 super chat. It's not even that, Staggervore. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you that they're not pushing it, but the thing is that I don't mind that. It's just it has to be good, and it's not been good, and that's the problem.
I think the issue is like saying that it was never like saying that you're doing it now and was always there. It just seems like it's a bit of a like what you're trying to pat yourself on the back. So
who goes first, Ben? Pick someone. We got 20 minutes to do this.
DJ Eric goes first.
Yes. So I'm going to pick random for 100.
Okay, random. Is a book, Eric.
Yeah, I get that.
You were a murderer. Okay,
know.
if you were a murderer on the Orient Express.
Paige's going to get this, but I'm going to say I answered this wrong. Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christie.
Paigey?
Agatha Christie.
Is it right?
Oh wait, I click spacebar. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god! How did I get that?
Eric.
That was a guess, but I got it. Okay, so then if I win by 100, Paige can be like he only won because of that one guess.
Well done, Eric. I put some it's like a mix. It's like pretty hard at some points, but then I put some easier ones in, so don't worry. Okay, Paige, which one are you going for?
We'll just go random 200.
Okay. What is London's version of Broadway called?
I think I'm right. I think it's the West End.
Eric?
That's what I would say too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, Eric, what do you choose?
Let's do history and geography for 100.
Ooh.
Oh no. What continent is Mauritius located in?
Continent. So that's a big thing, right? That's the big one.
Okay.
Asia.
Okay, Beiji.
Oh, I'm stuck between two. I'm going to say Africa.
And
Beiji
is
I'm
right.
stuck between Africa and the Americas.
Okay.
I was like, is it like
it's next
Caribbean.
to Madagascar.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was a Caribbean country or if it was an African country, but yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
I'll go music 100.
Music
Whoa.
100.
Oh, what the fuck?
Like super famous.
Oh, was it
Famous
Michael
American.
Jackson?
Eric?
Prince. Oh,
Yes.
I know it was one of those two.
Hadmeister is right. Okay, Eric, which one? Are you
History, geography for 200. Let's get this over with.
What
Hungary.
country is Budapest? Paige?
I think it's Hungary as well, yeah.
Yes, Eric got a history geography.
I know,
question.
go me. That
Nice,
American,
good
that
job.
American education is paying
Yeah.
off. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Paige.
We'll go movies 100.
So, which movie studio used to release all the Star Wars films?
Movie studio.
Like,
20th Century Fox.
And Eric?
Lucasfilm. I don't know.
Well, kind of, but yeah.
Lucasfilm's the
you got that
production
right.
company.
Yeah,
I know,
Lucasfilm's
but
the
I had a
company.
feeling you were right, so I was no point in me giving it a legitimate
Very
answer.
good. Okay,
Um,
Eric.
let's do history and geography for 300.
Ooh.
What's the country with the smallest population in the world?
Oh.
5, 4, 3.
Tasmania.
Paige?
Is it Vatican City?
Yes.
Oh.
They just have over 1,000 people.
Well, Tasmania's got a little bit more than that, so
Just a few. Okay, Paige.
Random 300.
Random 300. Which dessert / pudding, because I didn't know if you would understand, is most popular in England?
Oh,
You
I don't know, black pudding.
I'll give you another one because that's not like a. This is like a sweet pudding. Anyway.
Oh, I don't know, fucking fruitcake.
Eric?
Bread pudding.
Oh, that's a pretty good guess, but it's
trifle.
You know
Yeah,
what
I didn't think about that. That's actually
Yeah.
like a good like a blend of ice creams or something.
Mhm.
Like everything together. So
I mean,
that sounds
Eric,
really good,
your-
actually.
Yeah, it is really nice, and your bread pudding is not far off. That would be like third or something.
Yeah. So-
Okay. Which one are you choosing?
Who
It's
is my
Eric.
go? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Joe.
History for 400.
Eric is just going all the way.
Oh god.
What was Winston Churchill's favorite drink?
Whiskey.
And Paigey?
Brandy?
Yes,
Okay.
Eric.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just pretending.
We're
I'll
pretty
go,
close here. Look at the score.
Movies 200.
Movies 200. Which famous actor / actress is set to be the main villain of Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
I think it's Helen Mirren.
And Eric?
That's what I would say too. Yeah.
Yes. Paigey is right. Paigey's in the lead.
Hey, he's getting. Why am I getting all the hard questions?
Well,
History,
there's
geography,
You're going history / geography.
You're just getting the
400.
history ones. That's why.
history
Eric.
for 500.
Oh no way. What country borders Portugal?
Oh god.
Uruguay.
Oh no way. What?
Is it Spain?
Yeah. Oh my god. Why you Eric? Wait, can you explain?
Just different continents in general.
That's
because American history is not very good for international stuff. Like you have to dig for this stuff yourself. To be honest,
You didn't give me
Anyway.
points, Benjamin.
You get extra points for that page.
extra.
No, no, he didn't. He
Oh,
didn't give me my points. so.
Oh,
I
okay.
just think
I'll go music 200.
music 200. Which celebrity created Hamilton?
Is it Lin-Manuel Miranda?
Eric?
Yeah.
Same?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done. Eric? your go.
Random for 400.
Random 400. Was the opening song in the Muppets Christmas Carol?
You would ask me a Muppets thing, like literally one of the things I'd ever watch ever in my entire life. I don't know.
Do you know what Christmas Carol is?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
what happens?
I don't know. Silver Bells? I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm just gonna say like Silent Night. I have no idea.
Oh,
it's just,
well.
it's Scrooge. Okay.
Anyway, it's the character. All right. Who's next?
I'll go random 500.
Random 500. Which two drugs
Oh god.
are most commonly used by Sherlock Holmes? Or you can just say one and you can get it right.
I don't know. Aspirin.
Eric?
Opium?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to you. I said it could be one because it's pretty hard getting to. Well done, Eric. Coming back 1,200 to 1,700. Okay, who's next?
Eric.
Eric,
I believe it's
go.
me. So 300
Yeah.
for movies.
300 movies. What 1973 film did George Lucas direct?
Oh, I feel like this is a trick because I mean I know it's not Star Wars. Or maybe it is.
Mm.
No, I don't think it is.
Ooh. What is
I'm gonna say Star Wars because I don't want to give Paige a chance to look it up.
Paigey?
I can see it off the top of my head and I can't remember the name. I know it's American something, but I have no idea what it is. What the other one is? I know it's American something.
American Graffiti.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god!
Can't
I knew
really...
it was American something.
I would say well done here at least.
Yeah, don't give me points though. Don't give me points. I'll go 300. 300 music.
300 music. Which American band were best known for their songs in the surf genre?
The only one I can think of is the Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Eric?
That's right.
Yeah. Paige, you got it right. Paige is out ahead. Eric's go.
Let's do music for 400.
Music. Oh, fuck.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Let's just go this. Which actor plays the owner of Jurassic Park?
The owner?
So the guy that operates Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I don't know what his name is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nicolas Cage. I know it's not right, but I'm just going to say Nicolas Cage.
Richard Attenborough.
Very good.
Yeah, I didn't know his name. I could see it in my head, but
Yeah.
that's not right. So
Okay, Paigey, your pick.
I guess we'll go movies 500.
Who is the number one actor / actress in leading roles at the domestic box office of all time?
Like box office numbers, like
Yeah, who's
money.
made the most money with all their films, basically? Just one actor. Think of
Robert
a
Downey
popular-
Jr.
Okay, Eric.
who did he say?
He said
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, that's who I'd go with too.
Samuel Jackson.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
He's in every film.
He is in every film. That's true.
Oh yeah, Eric's go.
Music for 400.
Music 400. Who sang the song Grease, which featured in the opening credits of the film?
The opening credits?
Yeah, just the song. Famous American singer.
I don't.
Oh,
Donny Osmond? I don't know.
From around the same period as like the Beach Boys and stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know because I've heard
just
so
know
many
it's
versions of it. So
I'm just trying to sing the song in my head. I don't know. Shaquille O'Neal.
It's Frankie
Frankie
Valli.
Valli. I would have never picked Frankie Valli ever.
Anyway, Paigey.
I was going music 500, so we just go through Arrowverse one by one.
Mm-hmm. What was the number one hit single in 2015?
2015. I'm just going to throw myself back to that. Was it 2015? I'm just going to say, was it Lady Gaga, Born This Way?
Eric.
Call Me Maybe.
Oh,
Gee, I forgot that even came out in 2015. To be honest, so
I just thought you might know it because it's Fast and Furious. And
no. Now that you're saying it, it makes sense. But I think I was thinking because like Call Me Maybe was a huge request when it came out, and I knew it was around 2014, 2015. So I was like, maybe that was what it was. But
okay, you got
Carly Rae Jepsen.
This is Eric's. Eric has this one.
Well, I mean, obviously, Arrowverse 100.
Arrowverse 100. What is the song title of Baron Cara's song in Duet?
Are you going to make me say it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Is it Running Home to You?
Paigey.
No, it's Super Friend, isn't it?
Bang. Paigey gets it right. Eric, not a fan of.
I hated that episode. I've watched it twice in my entire life.
Okay, my go 200.
Well, confirmed.
Oh,
Jesus. Really?
Literally talking about this. Orange Wire, aka Cicada.
And Eric?
I mean, I'm not even going to answer. I know what it is.
Bang. He's Paigey's favorite actor.
It's all these stacked against me. Here we go.
Arrowverse. How long did Mon-El live in the future? Before he came back.
What? That's. Are we talking about his age? Like how old he is?
Like the duration. So when he left at the end of season 2 until he came back, there was a time jump. Not in normal time, but in the future.
Right.
I think I know, but I'm not too sure. I'd be taking a guess.
5 years?
Okay, Paigey.
I was going to say 5, but I might say 10.
Okay.
Final answers?
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
Okay. 7 years.
Well, in the middle, there we go. It was somewhere in the middle.
It's because they said 7 months in normal time, and it was.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I knew it was like a month-year thing, but I wasn't really totally sure.
Okay, Arrowverse 400.
Is this my one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which character shows up in Flash season 2, episode 2?
Which character?
Oh, I know. I'm trying to remember his name. It is Wait, is that okay? I'm gonna go with the villain song. I'm gonna say, is it Sand Demon?
Eric?
I don't know. Let's see. It's a character that shows up in that episode.
Yeah, I believe for the first time. He might have had a teaser.
So
I don't
okay,
know.
so I'm gonna say Barry Allen because he definitely shows up in the Flash season 2 episode.
No, but like a new character, okay? not a character. What was big in season 2?
I don't just know. It's like don't give me this.
I think Eric's been answering this question for half an hour.
Okay,
Matt
three,
Lesher as the Flash or the Reverse Flash. I don't know. Oh, I mean,
Eric. He showed up for the first time, or I think he had a helmet teaser before. But anyway, Arrowverse 500. Final question: how did Mon-El's mum die in Supergirl season 2?
wait, who's answering first on this one?
You.
Oh,
Eric.
me. I don't know. From lead.
And Paigey?
Yeah, wasn't it from the lead in the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you both got it right.
I think you
Wait,
spelled
but Eric
lead. I think you spelled lead wrong, but
Yeah, it's LED. We're gonna skip past that. Okay. Well, Paigey wins.
we
by
are
1,000
the
points.
champions, my friend.
Yeah. He got like who is Cicada? Like what kind of
Hold
question
on.
is that?
Talking
Like,
about it before.
yeah.
Eric, you know what to do. Swap the screens. Let's go.
I don't
Let's
have
go.
time.
We all have time. We all.
I
have
literally
time.
don't. This is the 2-hour mark. I literally have to go to work.
Oh, Eric. Boo.
Unless we do a lightning round. Can we get this done in 10 minutes? If we can get it done in 10 minutes, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Lana.
lightning round. Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right. Be first.
You go.
Okay.
You go.
Harry Potter
You go
100.
first.
Harry Potter.
Name Ron Wesley's pet rat.
Buster.
Ben.
Scabbers.
Oh,
Scabbers.
he's from Harry Potter's world, so he knew that. All right, go ahead. Then go.
Ben, your choice.
DC.
What year did Batman starring Michael Keaton release in theaters?
1989.
Eric.
1989.
Ben's already up. This is bad stuff, Eric. Eric.
Lord of the Rings 100.
Who directed the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
I don't know. I really don't. Peter Jackson? I don't know.
Ben.
Yeah, Peter Jackson. Yeah.
Eric's got a point. Ben.
MCU.
Iron Man starring Robert Downey Jr. was the first MCU film to hit theaters. What was the second?
The Incredible Hulk.
Eric.
That's right.
Yes.
Ben, up by 200. Eric.
Jurassic Park 100.
Oops. Who directed Jurassic Park?
Richard Attenborough.
Ben.
Steven Spielberg.
Eric could be taking the double dose of L today. Ben,
Maybe.
your choice.
Maybe.
DC.
What is the lowest grossing DCU film
Oh,
at the box
geez.
office?
Shazam.
Eric.
Really? I didn't think about that, but he might be right. Shazam.
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh,
Neither point.
it wasn't
Oh
even-
my god.
That's a
Oh my
cheat.
god. That was like a true or false question. Let's
Eric, go.
do Harry Potter for 200.
What creature is Aragog?
A griffin?
Ben?
A goblin.
Both wrong. It's an
Oh,
acromantula.
shit. Big-ass
We'll
spider.
accept big ass spider.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Eric.
All right,
No,
is
Ben.
that Ben?
Ben.
MCU.
Who is responsible for King T'Chaka's death?
The Winter Soldier.
Eric?
That's right.
Wrong. Zemo.
Oh, wait, Zemo, that's right.
Eric, your question.
The lightning round is screwing with me. Jurassic Park 200. I'm remembering things wrong.
Sam Neill plays Dr. Grant. What is Dr. Grant's first name?
Sam?
Ben?
Neil.
Alan? Ben, you'll go.
DC.
Ezra Miller first appears as the Flash in what DCU film?
Batman vs Superman.
Eric?
That's what I would say. That's what I'd say.
Wrong. Suicide Squad.
Oh,
He appears as Barry Allen in
Wait,
Batman
that came
v
out before BVS?
No, it didn't. BVS came in 2015. Suicide Squad came in 2016. You got that wrong, Paige.
Oh yeah, he appears as that stupid fucking future version,
Yeah.
doesn't he? I forgot about that movie.
Ooh.
We'll give Ben the points. It's Eric. Eric, you'll go.
MCU 300.
MCU 300. Who founded Sword?
I can't remember her name now. I don't know. Shield.
Ben.
Agent Carter.
Marie Rambo.
Yeah, I couldn't think of her
Eric, you'll
name.
go.
Wait, no, it's Ben's go, right?
Oh yeah, Ben's go.
Harry
No,
Potter.
it's your go. No, who's
It's Ben's. It's Ben's.
it's Ben.
Harry
It's Ben's
Potter.
go. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Name the killing curse.
Avada Kedavra.
Hey! Don't say
Yeah.
that out loud. Don't say that. You'll get in trouble. Eric, you'll go.
Jurassic Park 300.
What island is Jurassic World on?
Jurassic. I don't remember that one. Transylvania.
Ben.
Isla Nuba.
Close. Isla Nublar.
Yeah.
Ben, you'll go.
DC.
Which DCU film spends the most time in Gotham City?
Birds of Prey.
Eric?
That's what I'd say.
Birds of Prey. Bow, 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 bow. This is a bit of a concern, Eric. Eric, your question.
MCU 400.
Hawkeye has how many children?
2.
Ben?
1.
3.
Oh.
Ben, you'll go.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. What was the name of Lord Voldemort's loyal snake?
Nagini.
Eric?
I don't have any idea.
Nagini.
Yes.
This could be the biggest floggy of all time.
It's
Eric?
a movie. It's a movie quiz with somebody that that literally watches movies.
Yeah, but it's all
I mean,
franchise stuff.
It's the
which I'm
most. It's the most one-sided quiz ever. It's like if you did a whole music quiz, I'd probably win that one too.
Eric, just choose a question.
DC 500.
Which actor? Oh, oops. Sorry. Press the space bar. I'll pick up a random question from my head. What month did Suicide Squad release in 2016?
Oh, November.
Wrong. I'm not giving Ben points, but that was just for Eric. Ben, you'll go. Would you have got that question right? By the way,
Yes, I
Eric?
would have got that one right. That's one I would have known.
Harry Potter.
I'll give Eric the points.
Okay, fine.
Sirius Black escapes from Azkaban, but who was put in Azkaban during Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets? Bow bow. Eric, you got an answer?
Hagrid.
Hagrid.
Hagrid. Eric gets the answer.
Oh, damn it. I didn't even
Oh,
say
it's a comeback. Eric, your question.
Lord of the Rings 200.
Ooh. Who played the character of Legolas?
Oh. Joaquin River Phoenix.
Nah, Ben, do you have an answer?
Oh, no. I know his face.
I do too. I can't think of his freaking name.
Wait.
Orlando Bloom.
Oh yeah, there.
No,
Ben, you'll go.
MCU.
Ooh. What type of doctor is Doctor Strange?
A surgeon.
Eric?
A neurosurgeon.
Oh, Eric. Ben, you were leading 1,800, I think. To
Yeah, but
100.
you gave him like extra points. For it.
Okay. Eric, you'll go.
Jurassic Park 300.
400.
400.
In the Lost World, which American city is thrown into chaos by a rampaging T-Rex?
Is it Los Angeles?
Ben?
Los Angeles, I think.
San Diego.
San Diego. I knew it was West Coast.
Ben, you'll go.
Jurassic Park.
Oh. How many Academy Awards did Jurassic Park win?
1.
Eric?
2.
3.
Oh, okay.
Eric, you'll go.
Well,
That's
obviously, Lord of the Rings.
What was Gollum called before he found the ring?
I can't think of his name.
Ben?
No idea.
Smeagol.
Smeagol. I couldn't think of it. It's like, no.
This is my weak spot, Lord of the Rings.
Okay, here you go, Ben. 400. In which mountain was the Master Ring made?
Mount Olympus.
Eric?
Mount
there-
Doom. Doom. I don't know.
Mount Doom.
Yeah.
Eric is ahead.
I was guessing.
It literally comes down to the last question, and it's Eric's question. What does the inscription on the One Ring say?
One ring to rule them all.
Keep going.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Ben, you have no idea? One ring to rule them all.
Oh, it's
one
a
ring
lot.
To bind them. One ring to bring them all in the darkness. Bind them.
I mean, I would have never.
Doesn't matter because Eric has come back from 1,800 points
You gave
to
him
100. I repeat, he was down 1,700 points. It was 1,800 to 100 and has come back to win 2,000 points to 1,800.
Lord of the Rings.
That's not your day, Eric. Well, Eric went, hey, Ben, it's not your day. I cannot believe.
Eric got pity points.
Obviously, I am giving Eric the benefit of the doubt that he would have got Sharon Stone.
I would have gotten that.
very
That was
well.
actually one that I would have known.
God.
Thank you for the super chats there.
Oh, wow. What a. I don't know if that's the best comeback that we've had, but I'll tell you what, Ben, you need to stop letting Eric come back when you have the quizzes against him.
Here's the
seems to always
thing.
come back.
That's also not like I said, that's a movie category. Ben should have like totally swept me on that one.
No, it's
Well, I
just
think Lord of the Rings
Lord of the
screwed him a
Rings.
bit.
Yeah.
See, that's why I always do history and geography first, because I feel like if I get that out of the way, then I won't have to deal with this.
Well,
question.
Ben, now you have a
So-
task. Now you have to go watch the Lord of the Rings extended editions.
Again,
Enjoy that 14-hour trilogy.
I
haven't
do
watched
believe
this
that there was a promise made that someone was going to watch Napoleon Dynamite, but I don't know for sure if that person has followed through on that or not.
No, he watched Tenet for the 20th time.
Oh god.
Let me. I'm gonna say
The average human brain can only tolerate Tenet once before they go, "Wow, that was stupid."
Make sure I
Wow,
didn't miss
that
any
was-
super
that was
chats here. Yeah, didn't miss any super chats. All
Napoleon
right.
Dynamite, yes, please.
All right, so that's it. We are out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining us and hanging out for 2 quizzes, 1 regular, 1 lightning round, which was crazy. I have to say, doing it faster makes my brain like, wait, is that
Frazzled.
right? Is that wrong? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Anyway, so make sure you join us next week, where I'm sure we'll be talking about an exciting episode of The Flash because it's the Allegra episode. So,
Oh, there is a
Oh my
Superman.
God.
No, is there? Yeah, there is a Superman Lois episode next week.
Well,
but
at
not
least
the-
we can talk about that.
yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Thank Willie for being here, because I know he always wants me to say
So
it
that was
way.
fitting considering the Michael Jackson quiz.
Exactly.
Michael Jackson answer.
Yeah. And we had Ben, who actually was here like out and about, and then here in his room. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh,
So my cat is literally sneaking in.
They call him the Nomadic Ben.
Hey,
Yeah.
Gon.
Nomad Ben.
Hey, Gon.
Next minute, Eric's cat throws up in his office.
Let me get my cat before we go. I'll bring him over here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, cat
Hashtag cat reveal.
Hashtag get ready.
Hashtag
Eric
cat
has
reveal.
dyed his cat like green or something for sure.
That's a bit rude, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big fucking cat.
It's a dog.
He doesn't want to be on camera. He's like, no.
Oh,
That cat is huge.
that's a cool.
Yeah.
cat.
It's like a panther.
He just wanted to come in. He didn't want to actually be on camera. So, all right. So we'll catch everybody later. Have a good night, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Remember to shower.